The 1970 to 1973 Camaro, the second-gen Camaro. This car was really futuristic looking when it came out. The design was so modern looking that it made the previous Camaro look like the cars of the past, the 1960s. So this was the car of the future, the 1970s. In fact, even today, as the design approaches its 50th birthday, it's still a very modern and very sleek looking car. Now, the second gens, the 4-year run from 1970 to 1973, to the casual observer, they didn't change much year over year. But there were changes, both to horsepower and to refinement. Now, this particular one is a 1973. It's the last of the second-gen Camaros, and it's also the last of the chrome bumper Camaros. It also happens to be the most refined. Now, I'll explain why in a minute, but this also happens to have the Rally Sport front end. This is highly sought after by most Camaro people. I love it, it's my favorite. But it's got another option that's very unique, and we'll talk about that in a minute, and it's called the LT option. In 1973, the Camaro came out with what's called the LT, or luxury touring option, and that's what this is. It has a whole group of options that make it the most refined and most luxurious Camaro of all the second gens, in fact, of all the chrome bumper cars. Now, what comes in an LT? Well, let's talk about that. Now, you can quickly identify the LT by looking at the VIN number. Look at the second digit. It has to be an S. No S, no LT. S, you have an LT. It's as simple as that. Okay, and there's also, of course, emblems on the exterior car. There's the 4-spoke steering wheel with the LT badge in the middle of the button. There's the deluxe interior. There's the deluxe door panels. There's the deluxe dash, full instrumentation, including the tach. You've got the wood grain features in the dash, excuse me. You've got the wood grain features on the door. You have extra stainless on the exterior of the car. It just has more bright work. And of course, you have the left and right sport mirror. What you don't see is all the extra insulation. They beef up the insulation in this car and make it a much more tighter, more luxurious cabin. So here's your emblem. It says Type LT, and it would go right here on both cell panels. It was left off this car in the restoration for personal taste. And no harm, no foul, they can be added at any time. There's one on the rear panel as well. It says Type LT, and that's to tell you you were in a special type Camaro. Now, I said they were left off for personal taste. There were some things added for personal taste too. Some Z28 design elements to give it that extra sizzle. You can see the wheels, of course, are Z28 wheels, but let's look under the hood and see some other Z28 design elements that really add a lot to the look of this particular car. Well, we're about to take this for a test drive, but first I thought we'd look at this engine bay. It's gorgeous. It's got all the Z28 design elements. Of course, the motor's built to Z28 specs, so I guess it's a wannabe Z28. Sure runs like one. You'll find that out real quick. Well, let's start it up and listen to it. It sounds fantastic. Come around back and listen to this exhaust. That sounds so good. Wait till you hear it going down the road. This thing comes alive. Loud out here and super cool sounding, but pretty quiet in the cabin. Let's go on that test drive. You know, if you've never driven in a second-gen Camaro, especially a tight, good one like this one, you're in for quite a surprise. These cars, they're a joy to drive. You really kind of look for an excuse to get behind the wheel. They're just that nice. Now, they're still 50-year-old cars, and, there's a little wind noise and, maybe other idiosyncrasies that would come with 50-year-old technology, but it's truly fun. Steer with the palm of one hand, no problem. And it turns, I'm not going to say go-kart-like, but it certainly turns a lot better than anything before it. We're almost to the highway, and we'll pop on the highway and let it breathe a little bit. This car will really get it in fourth gear or any gear when you open the 4-barrel up. It's got the LT cam, the same duration and lift as a Z28, so it mimics pretty much the same experience you would have had in a 73 Z28. It runs good. Not a hot rod, but it definitely runs. Okay, here we go. Goes. Okay. It's definitely got the power, and it's a smooth delivery of power too. Not over cammed. It's the perfect cam. It's a fun car. This is a hard charging car. You know, it has two personalities though. It just runs old man style. Go get groceries, pick up the grandkids. All right, it's got a little Street Fighter in it too, which is fun. Makes the car a lot more fun. You know, I hope the mic is picking up the sound. It's quiet in this cabin. There's a little wind noise, but it's otherwise very quiet because it's so well insulated. That's what you got with the LT package in 73 was really a quieter, much more sophisticated cabin, more comfortable, more luxurious than any Camaro before it, and I love that. And hopefully the mic outside is helping to pick up the tone of the exhaust, because the sound on this car is killer. Really sounds fantastic. It's muted inside this cabin, but I know it's giving some good tones outside. Well, that's it for the test drive. I hope you enjoyed it. This was your ride in a really sweet 73 LT RS Camaro with factory 4-speed. If you enjoyed the video, click like and subscribe. You know, my son and I, we're just passionate about these old cars. And we only buy cars that we love. We call them the keepers. So if you'd like to see some more videos about some more great cars, subscribe and go to our site as often as you can. Adios.